It's another Getting Real with Ashleydawn, and I want to talk to you today, this evening, about personal growth. What does that mean? What does that look like? What does it look like to you? I'll tell you what it looks like to me. It looks like a garden to me. It looks like a gardener spending time in a garden and planting seeds, knowing that when those seeds come to harvest, that they're going to eat some really yummy vegetables and fruit, and that they're going to see some really beautiful flowers, maybe some really beautiful trees, maybe some really beautiful ferns. I think ferns are beautiful. But it takes a gardener planning and working and tending to the garden for it to grow. Each one of us has a garden in our own life that we are the only ones that can tend to it. Somebody else can't make your garden grow. You have to make your garden grow. You have to get up and water it and make sure it has the sun that it needs, make sure it doesn't get too much sun. You have to do that. You are responsible for your own life. You are responsible for your own garden. You say, Ashleydawn, my garden's not growing. Well, maybe you ain't been spending time in it. If you want something to grow, you have to spend time on it. If you want a bank account to grow, you have to put money into it. If you never deposit money into your bank account, that bank account is not going to grow. You have to continue to put money in it. And if you're constantly withdrawing from that bank account, again, it's not going to grow. Now, Ashleydawn, you're talking about gardens and bank accounts. What do you mean by personal growth? Well, I mean this. So often we get so focused on helping everybody else grow, on pointing out their flaws. Well, you need to do this. Well, you need to do this. Well, you need to do this. Take that little finger out and point it back at yourself. What do you need to do? What things do you need to do to grow? What things do you need to do so that your business can become everything that you want it to be, so that you can finish those books because you're an author? What do you need to do to see those dreams come to fruition? Because they're not going to come to fruition on their own. They're not just going to happen without you working at them. That relationship that you want so bad, you think that's going to happen just by itself? No, you're going to have to work on yourself. And will that affect others? Yes. But number one, you have to grow your own garden. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. And I've said this on a million different videos, but maybe you need to go to counseling. Maybe you need to realize some unhealthy trauma responses that you've had throughout your life. Maybe you had a very difficult childhood. Maybe things happen in your childhood that a child should not endure, a child should not go through. Maybe your parents couldn't handle their emotions, and so you built up all these defense mechanisms as a result of not being able to trust them, not being able to rest in the safety of their arms. There's some trauma responses that you might have to work through. There might be some weeds in your garden that need uprooted. Well, Ashleydawn, how do you know if they're weeds? Well, if they're hindering you from growing, if they're hindering your garden from growing, it's a weed. Is it stealing your joy? Is it stealing your peace? Is it stealing your patience? Is it stealing your thoughts? Are you constantly just bombarded with negative thoughts and you don't know where they're coming from? Maybe it's a weed that's in your garden. Maybe it's kind of snuck in there and you didn't realize it. Or maybe it's been there the whole time and you never realized it. We need to work on personal growth. And it's not about, bubble baths and candlelight dinners, which those are nice. But personal growth is doing the hard work. Getting your hands dirty with your own life. A garden is not going to grow if you never get your hands dirty. If you never dig into the soil. If you never plant the seeds, a garden is not going to grow. Those seeds are not going to grow. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to put your work boots on. Maybe you put your gloves on. You pull up those weeds. You till up the ground. You get the soil prepared. I know that it's really easy to watch movies and to read all these self-help books and to just think that, you can, I don't even know the word that they say. It's like you speak it into existence. Like, that's not how life happens. Yes, there is power in your words and there's power in the tongue, but your life is a result of your choices. Your life is a result of your hard work. A business just isn't going to happen if you never show up and do the work. Those dreams are not going to happen if you don't put in the work. That book is not going to be on the shelf of Barnes & Noble if you do not write it. It requires you to do something. It requires action on your part. Are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to grow your garden? Are you ready to look at your garden and see what isn't growing and make the tough decision to pull it out and to say, you know what, this isn't growing, so I'm going to take this away from my garden. This isn't growing, so I'm going to rip it out from the roots. That's the hard work, deciding what gets to stay and what has to go, that keeps your garden healthy. Personal growth, yes, it's important for your, personal life, but it also is important to the lives around you. Because guess what? In a garden, if there's a big harvest, you get to feed the people around you. Your life, if you put in the work, will feed the people around you and you won't even realize it. You'll start seeing all these fruits of the Spirit that are growing, and you'll be like, wow, I had no idea I had so much patience. I had no idea I had so much gentleness and kindness and faithfulness. I had no idea I had so much self-control. I had no idea I had so much joy and love. It's so easy to forget that we have to do the work, that we got to put in the time, that our life is an investment, and if we're not investing, it's not going to get better. Like I said before, a bank account isn't going to grow if all you're doing is withdrawing from it. A garden isn't going to grow if every time you plant something, you dig up the seed to see if it's growing. You got to have patience. You got to let it grow. Let it grow. Let it grow. Get it? Like let it go. But you do. You have to let it grow. You have to do the work. You have to decide, okay, is this healthy for me? Is this person healthy for me? Is this relationship healthy for me? Are these friends healthy for me? Is this job healthy for me? Is this food healthy for me? You have to take an inventory of your life and say, okay, what is healthy for me and what isn't? What is hindering my growth and what is helping me to grow? And the hardest part is when you realize the things that are hindering your growth, to cut them out of your life and to say, you know what, this isn't helping me. Maybe it's financially something that is not helping you. Maybe it's a job that you are not making enough money at and you need to quit and you need to get a different job where you're making more money. Maybe it's a relationship to where it is a toxic relationship and it is not good and you do not feel loved, you do not feel seen, you do not feel celebrated. They never ask you how you're doing. They never ask you how you're feeling. It's like you don't matter to them. Maybe that's not helping you grow. Maybe that's not the best for you. Maybe it's a friendship where your friend always puts you down or always uses you. Like you go out to eat and every single time you pay for them. Maybe you're the one that drives all the time. They never offer to help you with gas. Maybe they're always at your house and you're never at theirs. And it's hard. Listen, I get it. It's hard to see things and to realize like, oh, maybe that's not for the best. Maybe that's not helping me grow. I love this person. I care about this person, but maybe they're not helping me. Maybe their involvement in my life is hurting me. And here's another thing for personal growth. Boundaries. In a garden, you have a gate to keep the little critters out. If you're smart, use ladybugs, and ladybugs are natural pest control. They keep the pests away. Keep your plants from getting eaten by bugs and insects. You got to put some boundaries up. And boundaries are hard. Telling somebody no is hard. Listen, I get it. I've had some lacking boundaries for most of my life, and I've kind of just let people walk all over me, and I've tried to be nice, and I've allowed my kindness to be taken for granted. Boundaries are necessary. To set a boundary and say, hey, I don't like the way you're treating me. I don't like the way you're speaking to me. I don't like the way you make me feel. You know what? I don't want you to make me feel like that anymore. I don't want you to treat me like that anymore. And the hardest part is when it's a family member, when it's a parent, and you have to make some boundaries between you and a parent and say, listen, you're hurting my family. You're hurting me. Your words are unkind. Maybe it's a friend that you've had since elementary school, and you have to tell them, listen, you're hurting me. I'm going to need to put a boundary up. You're taking advantage of me. Like I said, maybe it's that friend that you pay every time you go anywhere. Maybe you need to put a boundary up and just let them know, like, hey, you're not going to take advantage of me anymore. Like, I'm not rich, and it's not fair that every time we go out, I pay for it. Like, you can pay for you and I can pay for me, or we can take turns, and one day I can pay for you and the next day that you can pay for me. But set some healthy boundaries and let the people in your life know that you've realized that there's some areas that need to be improved. Let them know that you're doing some personal growth. Let them know that you're pulling some weeds. You're pulling some weeds in your garden that are hindering your garden to grow, that are hindering your garden from being everything that it needs to be. Let them know, listen, I'm having some boundaries. Read the book Boundaries. It'll change your life. I've read it several times, and apparently I'm not applying it enough. But read the book Boundaries. You'll realize areas that you've kind of let your guard down and kind of let people take advantage of you or walk all over you, and how unhealthy that is. Maybe sign up for a Bible study. I know our church does. It seems like they do a Bible study on boundaries every season, and every time a new Bible study starts, at least one of them is about boundaries, because it is such a big deal. Maybe sign up for some Christian counseling. I was talking to my friend today, and I was like, you know what? There's some things in my life that I don't think I've gotten full healing from. I think I might need to maybe spend some time with a Christian counselor, like a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and really get to the heart of this issue, really get to the root of this weed so that I can uproot it and so that it can't steal my joy anymore. It's okay if that's what you're going to do. Spend some time on your garden. Spend some time on yourself, because the healthiest you is going to be the healthiest everything. It's going to be the healthiest if you have kids. It's going to be the healthiest if you have family. It's going to be the healthiest if you're married or you're dating or you're engaged. A healthy you brings health to everything around you. It's just like a stagnant pond. Have you ever been around a stagnant pond? Maybe you've wanted to go fishing and you showed up and you're like, well, I'm not fishing here. Everything's dead. Yeah, that's because the water was stagnant. That's because there was no oxygen. There was no life in the water, and so everything died. The same goes for you. If you're not growing, you're dying. Like, essentially, if you're not growing, you're dying. If a plant isn't growing, it's dying. And so if you look at that and you say, okay, if I'm not growing little by little, I'm dying, and I'm killing everything around me. If I'm negative all the time, I'm going to kill the joy in others. I'm going to kill the optimism in others, because I'm going to be draining them. I'm going to be dragging them down. The healthiest version of you creates a healthy environment for everyone around you. Yes, it's personal growth, but it's even so much more than that. You break generational curses and generational bondages and things that maybe your family has struggled with for years and years and years. You are the one that breaks those off of your family. You are the one that says, that's going to end here. That's going to end with me. No more is my family going to struggle with anger issues. No more is my family going to struggle with financial issues. No more is my family going to struggle with stuffing things in the closet or shoving them under the rug and not dealing with them. I'm going to be the first person in my family to deal with my junk, to clean out my closets, to sweep under the rug, to pull up the weeds in my garden, and I'm going to grow. And because I'm growing, my kids are going to see that I'm growing. My husband's going to see that I'm growing. My family's going to see that I'm growing. And you working on your personal growth does not give you the permission or the opportunity to walk around pointing your finger at everybody else and pointing out the flaws in everybody else. It's quite the opposite. Personal growth means personal. So you take that little finger out and you put it back at yourself. You shouldn't be trying to fix everybody else. You should be focusing on fixing yourself, on getting yourself healthy. Because if that water's healthy, then fish are going to be healthy. That's a word. If that water is healthy, then fish are going to be healthy. So get your water healthy. Get your garden healthy. Work on personally growing yourself. And then through that, through your example, everything around you is going to grow too. Everything around you is going to have the opportunity to see the life and the oxygen that you're pouring into you. And obviously God's helping you because you're relying on Him. But when you work on you, you give everyone else an example, right? And they can work on them. And there's no pressure for them to work on them because you're not walking around pointing your finger at them. Yeah, nobody likes that. Nobody likes anybody walking around, pointing their finger, acting like they're better than anybody. Nobody likes that. I personally don't like that, and I don't know anybody in my personal circle that does. So when you point to yourself and you say, you know what? I'm going to spend some time working on me. I got some issues that I really need to work out. I got some things that I really need to fix. I got some weeds I need to pull up. And I'm going to take that class at church. I'm going to sign up for that Bible study. I'm going to go to that psychologist. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to do this thing. Maybe it's your health. I've been working out a ton recently. Thank you for noticing. For anybody that out there is like, Ashleydawn, your arms are looking real good. Thank you. I've been working out. I work out. Yeah. But I've been working out and I'm getting healthy and I'm working on personal growth and I'm realizing things in my life that aren't healthy and I'm getting rid of them. I'm realizing weeds in my life that need to be uprooted so that I can be my healthiest self. And through me being my healthiest self, all the girls that I mentor will be healthy. All my friends will see, hey, you're working on yourself, girl. You look good. And you smell good. And I love being around you. You are so positive and you're so happy and your joy has returned. Yeah. I'm working on me. And the only thing I can encourage you is for you to work on you. Because if you work on you and I work on me, can you imagine how beautiful that world's going to be? Can you imagine how beautiful our friendship is going to be if we're friends and you're healthy and I'm healthy and we're healthy together? Oh my goodness. There ain't going to be no stagnant ponds. There ain't going to be no gardens overgrown with weeds. It is going to be a healthy friendship. We're going to have a healthy life. Healthy. There's going to be fish. There's going to be flowers. There's going to be lilies. There's going to be beauty. But we got to work on ourselves. And through working on ourselves, that water is going to be healthy. There's going to be life and oxygen in it. And so everything around us is going to be healthy too. Personal growth works. Pointing your finger at everybody else and trying to help them grow and acting like a know-it-all and trying to show them how smart you are and how put together you are and how you have everything figured out. No, boo-boo, you don't have everything figured out. None of us do, okay? Knock, knock, who's there? Not perfect. None of us are perfect. But if we would work not on perfecting ourselves, because like I said, we're not perfect, but getting healthy. Getting as healthy as we could possibly be. Our thoughts getting healthy. Our actions getting healthy. Our words that we speak over others and over ourselves being healthy. That's where life change happens. If you're a Christian, I hear my mom. Yep, not perfect. This is Getting Real with Ashleydawn. If you are a Christian, your life preaches more than your words do. No matter how many Bible scriptures you know, no matter how much time you spend in church, the way you live your life, the way you treat your friends, the way you treat your family, the way you treat strangers, the way you treat people that can't really do anything for you, that preaches more than your words do. So maybe you need to get healthy. Not only for yourself, but so you can be a better example of Christ's love to the world. That's a hard word. I know that. Personally, I know that's hard. That your example either brings people closer to Jesus or brings people farther away. That's really hard. It's really hard to understand that our life is not just, woo, I'm driving the wrong way and I didn't even realize it. Oh, well, sorry. Not the best example. But our life is an example. And it shows to everybody that's watching us. It shows to everybody that sees what we're doing. Do we have a good example? Are we showing the love of Christ to others? Are we? Are you a good example? Am I a good example? Because people will know the Lord, people will know Jesus through the way that we treat them, through the things that we say to them, through the way that we act. We can have crosses around our neck, we can have bumper stickers all day long, but if we are not living the words in red out, it's for nothing. Let's work on getting healthy. Let's get our gardens healthy. Let's get our water healthy. Let's be the healthiest version of ourselves so we can encourage the people around us to be healthy too. How about that? That sounds good, right? I hope this encouraged you. I hope you know that you are seen, you are celebrated, and you are loved. I love you, but more importantly, God loves you. He's got great plans for you, and they start with you being healthy. Let's work on personally growing. Let's grow them muscles. Let's grow them heart muscles. Let's grow our faith. Let's grow our spirit. Let's grow closer to God and to each other. I hope this blessed you. I'll catch you in the next one.